Welcome everyone to the MMOs.com podcast. This is Altai here with episode 41, and we're joined by
Omer,
Big Gumble,
Matt,
Australia.
Whoa, shit! That was a depressing Australia.
Oh,
That was not exciting.
Australia, yay.
Yay!
Let's start with some life updates. Some of us have been traveling. Sure, you can start off.
I went to the mountains this weekend for my mom's birthday, and they went snowboarding, but I just stayed in the cabin, and I worked on my game.
Ooh.
And watched anime. I watched Plastic Memories for the 4th time.
Damn.
And
nice.
then I watched Princess Jellyfish for the 3rd time.
All right.
So,
We
I
watched
have
some classics.
I have a request for you. Do you watch It's Always Sunny in Philly?
me?
Yes.
The hell's that?
Okay.
What? It's a comedy.
Watch the mountain episode.
I will link it to her.
Okay,
Alright,
okay.
your homework is after this podcast. You're gonna watch the episode of It's Always Sunny in Philly when they go to the mountain.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. In fact,
was-
I'll probably watch it with you after this.
It was pretty nice. Like the cabin was super nice. I had like a wood fire like heater and stuff. Cooked a lot of good food. But that was pretty much my job. Is I just stayed home and cooked.
What? You fulfilled your gender duties. Shit.
I did. Wish I took pictures because I cooked some pretty good stuff.
Well, as you guys can see from the background, I'm in a much more cluttered location than my usual white wall. I'm back in New
What's going on
Jersey.
there?
Yeah, I'm just back in Jersey. This is the basement that Omar and I first played MMOs in.
We played everything in there.
Whoa.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it.
that's more imagery than I wanted.
Anyone else? Sean, Matt, anything exciting?
Well, I didn't get to gloat last week, but I beat Emily Wants to Play, so Omer and Shu can suck it, because I stuck it out, and with help from some people in chat who may or may not be here, I beat the game.
Good.
That game it's all cheap jump scares, but
Those cheap jump scares scared the shit out of me. All right?
I was laughing quite a bit, and then laughter turned to frustration. And it wasn't until someone jumped in, a few people, Alice and John and a few others, helped me out a lot. They gave me the hints. If it wasn't for them, I wanted to quit so many times.
All right.
Just out of frustration. But it was a good game. I got my $5 worth.
Good.
So, it's a good week.
That
Excellent.
game. I think I'm just not good at playing horror games because like I was like scared before anything even happened.
Yeah, I was scared too. I can't
I
handle
feel
it.
like yeah.
You just wanted a Papanucci's
It
pizza.
was like the lights turning off and stuff. I was like scared already.
Those dolls.
I have a second life story, but I'll save it for after the weekly raid.
All right, so there we go. Weekly raid.
So we're going to jump right into the weekly raid. This week, we're asking somewhat of a fun question after our pay-to-win shenanigans. So there's a lot of gaming companies out there, and many of them have ridiculous names. So this week we're asking, what would you call your gaming company? I have a few names myself, one of which is Big Dog Gaming, which, for people who know, that was my guild at one point. Big Dog Gaming, I got Celibate Bonobo, and No Scam Incorporated are my big companies.
No Scam Incorporated.
No
It's too
Scam
long.
Incorporated.
It's too long.
No Scam
Well,
Incorporated. It would be No Scam Inc.,
All
right?
right, that's better.
And
Okay.
we specialize in microtransactions. So we're asking you guys, what would you call your gaming company?
Well, I actually did call myself Another Day, Another Game for a while.
Another
Okay.
day,
Really
another
tough.
game. That sounds like self-defeating. It's like, I gotta come to the office again and work on another game.
That does sound pretty defeating. Maybe more
Yeah, in
upbeat games.
retrospect, it was pretty bad.
Another day, another game.
Ours right now, our working title for our game company is Dead Tree Games
Dead
because
Tree.
we make games on paper.
That's pretty
Oh, that's good.
That's actually really
Yeah.
good.
It actually has meaning behind
It
it.
reminds me of
pen and paper
Deadwood,
RPG.
a hero from
Yeah.
Han.
I got so much work done on the pen and paper RPG. It's great.
Yo,
Can't wait to play
when
it.
you're done, run us through.
We want to do one on the
Yeah, run
on
us
the
through.
campus.
Yeah, it could be fun.
All
All
right.
right.
Hey, what about you?
Well, I'm reading some good ones in the chat here. Procrastinator Studios.
It's a good one.
Well, I want to
That's
say
awesome.
what motivated me to come up with this question was we were playing that Berserkers game for Sunday Fun Day, and
yeah.
the name of the studio is probably the best part. It was like Shield Break, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
It's a
that's
pretty good name.
Yeah.
Um,
Look, you can tell if a game will do well based on the name, all right? of the
well, you
studio.
can't because we didn't like Berserker. even
Yeah,
though-
that's
That's
true.
true.
It gives you a plus. It gives you a plus.
yeah. That's
Well, to be fair, Overpower is Hydrant Games, and every time I've seen it, I'm like,
yeah.
"God,
What?
that's so bad."
Yeah.
I think Shu dropped my favorite one so far
Yeah,
called
me too.
Kickstart and Dash Studios. Which is you get money on Kickstarting and then you dash.
Will for
That's the-
funding.
Most accurate name.
That's a company mission statement right there. I don't know. I really thought about this question before.
I think it encompasses
Imagine-
our core company values.
Imagine if Greedmonger were the name of the studio.
All right. The current contender for best name, I think, for a game that's an MMORPG under development is City State Studios. I think they're making that Camelot Unchained, right?
Is Camelot Unchained? That's still got a while to go for release. That's still like years away, isn't it?
It's years away, but there's actually some update. There's some chatter about a closed beta, so there is some progress being made.
Whoa, Chatter.
Yeah,
We
City-
all know we can trust Chatter.
So here we go. City State Entertainment. That's a pretty good name for an MMO studio, I think.
It is. I like it. If it's it's MMO
It's a little formal for me, you know.
Oh, wow.
I like blackjack and hookers here, according to one of our Twitch.
All right, how about
chatters.
this one?
I've always liked Spellbound Entertainment, like you're spellbound by their games.
I
Yeah,
got
that's
it.
good.
I got it.
What is it?
Parallel worlds.
Oh, that exists, right?
I don't
No.
know.
That sounds like it should exist.
That's an MMO, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
I just googled it. And I find nothing on it. So
I've.
Are these-
I feel
No,
like
no,
I've heard-
Parallel Kingdoms, right? Parallel Kingdoms.
Parallel
Parallel
worlds.
That's not bad.
Is a solid MMO studio. It has to be my studio, all right?
Here's
There's
mine.
multiple servers, parallel worlds, solid.
I got one. Donkey Punch Studios.
It's not bad.
Donkey
It's not
Punch.
bad.
It's like a donkey getting knocked out. Like a.
I can see the
Whoa,
logo
whoa, whoa.
coming up.
I
on
know
the
it means
screen.
something else too.
We're not talking about donkeys getting knocked out here.
There's something else going on with that word.
I know.
I can already picture
Damn,
the investor
Erhan,
pitch.
it's gonna be all over us.
Guys, investor pitch. Donkey Punch Studios.
Donkey-
The core values are, go to
Alright, feel free to leave a comment. Pay to Win Studios is pretty good. Make sure you leave a comment though on the editorial.
You should link it
You
again.
can be make it as ridiculous as you want. Doesn't and maybe one day it'll become a real company.
All right, whoever gets the best name on the MMOs.com editorial for the weekly raid, I will fund their game company with a seed investment of $1. All right.
Oh.
Whoa!
All right. Don't spend it all in one place, but it's a good buck.
By the way, the picture on the page on the editorial is the official MMOs.com office.
I
If you
wish.
didn't get a chance to look, we actually don't use computers. That's how pro we are. We just kind of sit around. So everyone wants to know what it's like. There it is. No shady business studios. Yeah, right.
But let's move on to cover the launch of Black Desert, because this is it's not launched yet. This is still technically the preview, the Head Start
Yep.
program, right?
So, yeah, basically people are calling it a disaster of a launch right now because people didn't get their pre-order items in time because of some glitch in the system.
But
I mean,
what were the pre-order items anyways? Run us through. Like, were they stuff that you needed to have right away?
well, a lot of people are saying that they've been disadvantaged because they don't have the 10% experience bonus that's given by, like, Cash Shop costume. And I'm just like, you're still getting 48 hours ahead of everyone else that didn't pay $100. Are you really that much at a disadvantage?
Yeah, it seems like such a small deal. And plus, 10% XP boost when you're leveling pretty fast early on anyway. It doesn't even seem like a big deal.
And I don't know what they did. I really have no idea what they did, but they broke something to all hell. And people that redeemed their items within like the first 6 hours or so have to wait until March 3rd when they do maintenance again to get their items.
Wow.
And people were like, just do the maintenance now. And I'm like, do you really want them to take the game down during Head Start again? But yeah, people were saying they got scammed and all that. But a lot of people who a lot of people had issues getting their items are getting them now. And yeah, some people are having issues getting access to the game, and I have no idea what's going on with that because not enough threads are showing up because they're being drowned out by the pre-order items.
But it seems like the only real issue is not being... If you pay for the access and you can't get on, that's really the big one. I mean, the items... It just launched. It's a super popular game. They're going to have some issues. It's,
And I mean,
yeah.
You're only not getting access if you bought after the date, right?
no, there are a few people that bought
Oh.
like the Conqueror's package that don't have access, but I'm not sure what's going on with that. There hasn't been anything regarding that.
All right. About the experience boost in this game, you cannot complain about that. The max level is 50, and if you just grind, the experience rate is really fast. Like you can
get there
max
pretty
out.
quick
Yeah,
anyway.
you can get there pretty quick.
And Yeah, but it's had a smooth launch other than that. I mean, the game works. Nothing's broken as far as I can tell. I'm not having lag issues. There are no queues. You're not getting disconnected. I mean, there's literally nothing else to complain about.
Matt, there's no queues and disconnects because it didn't launch for everybody else yet. Just wait till the doors open
wait
for
till
everybody.
Thursday.
Explorers opened today, and I got on this morning to check if my items showed up, and I got in instantly.
I mean, again, wait till Thursday.
Wait till yes.
I will say, just a reminder, and it seems some people forget this every time a new MMO launches. I don't think there's ever been one successful MMO launch. Every single one was riddled with disaster.
At least one disaster.
At least one thing always goes wrong, whether it's WoW or it's WildStar or whatever. Something always goes wrong, and it's. I mean, I can't say. The brief browsing I did on the forum, I saw too many posts were like, refunds now! If I don't get my items, I want a refund now!
And people are throwing around class action lawsuits. They're going to get their items by Thursday, and they're like, we're going to start a class action lawsuit. And
It's
I'm
like, you go to your lawyer, you go to your Jewish lawyer, sit in the office, I didn't get my virtual items! And they'll be like, get the fuck out.
I do gotta say though, I do empathize with the people who did pay and they expected to play early and they can't get in. And I wish we knew more about that, and that does suck. And if only there weren't so many people complaining about the items, maybe Dom could address the issues people have because right now I'm sure their tickets are overloaded with people complaining they didn't get their items, but the people who didn't get in the server I think are the ones at the real disadvantage here. So hopefully those issues are resolved, today. Since now the next batch of packages are getting in. So that's unfortunate.
There is also the issue with the Serendia servers, or the channels were putting people on other servers, but they're compensating people with name swaps and stuff like that. And they're even working with people to move their items over, I think. Or at the very least, most people had their coupons refreshed, so they could have just sent them to another server if they needed to.
Yeah, that was a real issue. I did read about that. There's basically they got the database screwed up or something for one of the servers.
For one of the channels.
Yeah,
it's every one of the Serendia channels, but it was only on North America, I think. I don't know what they did, but it was not working.
One other funny thing to know about Black Desert, the North American version had something the Asian version didn't have, and that is 2 shades of darker skin color for people who want to play black characters.
No
Wow. So the Asian server didn't let you play black characters?
No, and that's actually a chronic problem. I remember, I think it was over a year ago, one of our black, viewers or something messaged and saying, I just want a game where I can play a black character. And so many Asian games don't give you that choice.
Wow.
I mean, in their defense, all right, they're not familiar with the black race, right? In
With
their
the blacks,
country,
yeah.
they look around, and they base their curses on themselves and white to be white because all the characters.
Yeah, I don't think it's like racism. It's just it's just not knowing. Yeah.
No, I don't think it's racism either. I mean, they did work to cater, to the demographic and where it's published, right?
So I think it's something a publisher would do. But imagine like an Asian developer, if they publish it themselves in the West, they probably wouldn't
remember.
Yeah.
Well, I do think that's testament to how well they're doing with the whole localization thing, though.
Yeah.
I mean, actually, on that topic too, people have been saying like the Korean version went downhill pretty quickly because a lot of pay to win stuff, and they're not seeing too much of that in the Western release so far, which is good. So this could be one of the games that does better in the West than it does in Asia, because Terra has really been one of the only Asian developed games that really pulled that off, and this could be number 2.
Definitely.
I'm just hoping that if it does do well in the West but not in the East, that they still develop it.
They definitely will.
Because Echo of Soul is still under
But
debate.
Echo of Soul isn't doing particularly well in the West either, whereas it was a disaster in the East.
And Echo of Soul is by area. Okay, what do you have to say?
Okay, Echo of Soul can be summed up in literally one word: generic.
Failure? Oh, sorry.
Just pure generic.
No, not generic. Diluted.
Diluted generic.
I got a better one. Ready, guys?
Wait, what?
It's an echo of every other Asian grinder kid that came before it.
I like it. I like it.
So
That's
you
like
say
the
that the soul of the game
MMORPG.com
is just an
review.
echo?
Ooh, I like that show.
Yeah, the MMORPG.com review, I saw that one time, and it was too much Echo, not enough Soul.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Actually-
Seth says he bought Guild Wars 2, and he played it a lot to level cap, and also played ESO, and he's also played around with WildStar. Should he play Black Desert Online? Again, Sean and Matt and Aaron.
You can't really compare Black Desert to anything else because it's a mix of like sandbox and theme park, but it's not like a mix that is going to make sense to you unless you play it.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I think the best
Actually,
way
have
to
a
do it is if you want something different, right? Play it. Give it a chance. I can't
Here's
promise
a
you'll
great
like it.
video for you.
What do you got for me?
There's a great video to decide if you want to buy Black Desert. or
Oh, let's see it.
I mean, it would be fair, I think, to compare it to probably like Elder Scrolls structure-wise, because you've got the RVR type thing at the end, but you've got like questing or grinding at the beginning. I think so. Structure-wise, you might be able to compare it vaguely to Elder Scrolls, but only vaguely.
I said this at the end of my video preview. Black Desert is only worth buying if you're the type of player who likes every single mechanic in an MMO. If you like to craft, if you like housing, if you like the economy, if you like combat, if you like it all together, the package deal, then play it. If you only like one aspect of a game, like if you're only in MMOs for combat, which I know a lot of players are, then I don't think it's worth it. I think you're only going to get your value out of it and your time if you like every avenue of the gameplay.
I think
I
that's
stick with it.
If you want an actual MMORPG, you want all the features.
That's the thing, like,
but
MMORPGs, a lot of them focus on one element, and then one element shines really well, and then everything else kind of falls to the side, or it becomes like a small complement. But I think in this game they did a great job at trying to make each element stand on its own.
What's
At least
what's
for what
the
they
crafting
offer.
like in the game? Because
It's-
I'm really interested in crafting.
I haven't played enough of Final Fantasy 14 to like really like send. I didn't play enough of the beta to
Did you play
say for
Mud
sure.
and Nogi?
But if I remember correctly, Final Fantasy 14's beta crafting is similar to Black Desert's.
I disagree.
If I remember correctly, is what I said.
So you don't remember correctly, according to Sean.
I think
According to Sean.
FF14 had the best crafting I've played in any game because it was like a mini game on its own. Black Desert is more passive, but what's neat about it is that you don't level up for formulas. You just can combine items you can collect to try and figure out formulas yourself for new items. So it's more passive. What it's more interesting wise is how you collect resources, hiring workers, and like linking trade routes. It's more of a trading game involved with crafting than it is a strictly crafting game.
Wait, you said it has trade routes. Does it have like a like a hauling system? You haul from town to town, and
Yeah,
then
you
they
can
jump,
hire
jump by
people.
bandits. And does
Yeah,
that
you can
happen?
hire people to send caravans of goods from one town to another, and they can come under attack by like these roaming bandits. You can actually just walk around with a pack on your back, and you can be attacked by bandits as you're going from town to town. It's interesting.
I like that in Mud and Nogi. They had that system. It was pretty fun.
Guys, this comic personifies my experience, my thought on the game's character creation, and I feel a lot of people
Go
felt
ahead.
the same way. This is on RMRPG, and I linked it in the. Sorry, I can put it up. It's called Black Desert Online. So unique, so special.
So true.
Going back for a second, though, what I was going to say is the conclusion I came to is that Black Desert is one of those games that you can grind and rush through it, but if you're going to do that, you're not playing it right. If you want to play it right, you have to do the quests and get introduced to everything.
Well, that's not fair either. I think it's if you want to grind through it, you are still playing it, but it's got the kind of depth to explore if you want to. Not everyone
Alright.
wants to do that.
And,
Well,
and that's
I've
Black
seen a
Desert
lot of
Online, guys.
Grind through it and say in chat, they're like, I'm bored, there's nothing to do, nobody's PvPing. And I'm like, you rushed through everything. What are you talking about?
Well, they want a PvP. They don't want to sit there to trade routes.
Yeah, which
Alright.
is fair.
Guys, we said we talk about Black Desert for 5 minutes, and we're well over
Yeah,
that
we're
5
over.
minutes.
We're all over. Good.
So let's jump to one other issue, because otherwise this is not the Black Desert podcast. This is the
No, it's not.
MMOs.com podcast, and we have to cover Tree of Savior. There's some news on the game, though it's very vague news.
What do
And
we
they
got?
said open beta is coming soon.
Oh,
And
I
that's
saw that.
all we got. It's coming soon.
No, it's not all we got. We got a new website that's got a nice blue theme. It's blue. Blue is great and amazing. Come on,
Blue.
guys.
Blue is my favorite color. So
It is clean. It's a clean website.
You know what's funny? If you Google open beta coming soon, the number one link, or at least for me, was this Tree of Savior website. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, for me too.
It's a good thing to rank for.
Yeah, it's probably the most.
They should
recent
just
game
keep
too.
this. They should just keep this page and then just
Who's searching open beta coming soon?
like
though?
10
Nobody.
years from now, someone searches open beta coming soon. This comes out.
I
So
hope
I'm
that
gonna go
Kid
ahead and
Savior
guess.
Still does well, because I really want to play it.
Yeah, I agree.
I-
I'm gonna guess summer.
I think I have no interest in
Bummer.
Tree of Savior.
Yeah.
but I'm gonna guess April.
Yeah, I think earlier than that. And
I think earlier.
I'm on board with Matt on.
I say
April.
March, end of March.
End
Yeah.
of March.
Really,
Okay,
April,
that's
end of
fair.
March, I think.
Sure, your mic quality just got really Duke on my end.
Yeah.
so.
I'd say the
Yeah.
game is coming either this week or next week. I think that's a little optimistic.
So what I still like about Tree of Savior is, honestly, like, you have graphics like Black Death Island. They look great, right? But a game like Tree of Savior, the graphics still appeal to me. I think they look
Oh, absolutely.
solid. So it's a cool contrast between, like, going full 3D, all-out graphics versus the top-down perspective. And the top-down perspective is, I feel, it's timeless. It still works.
I would
Well, they're
prefer.
different games.
I would prefer Black Desert with this graphic style.
You can't have that though. Black
Why?
Desert. Oh no, you can have the game like that. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
saying. But I can't imagine the Black Desert look with
No. Like,
the gameplay.
yeah, the gameplay,
I-
the trading, the
Yeah. But that might not work either.
Why?
Eh.
I don't think computers are powerful enough for good 3D yet. If that makes sense.
I think
No,
we're
I
there.
don't think
Look
it
at Black
does.
Desert Online. That game is gorgeous.
It's not. It doesn't feel realistic enough.
Wow.
It
Give an
doesn't feel
unrealistic
real-
expectation.
It's actually like uncanny. It's I think you mentioned it last time, Matt. I don't know. I feel like realistic 3D games are kind of too close to the uncanny valley for me. We're not there yet.
I just take it in stride, I mean, until things like there are a few things like especially faces when the eyes are wrong, it really really bothers me. But the uncanny valley, it's very specific for me. But there's going to be a point where we hit almost real, like
Right.
legitimately almost real. But it's going to be just different enough, like the animations aren't going to be good enough or something, but the graphics are or something like that, and that's when it's really going to be bothersome.
Yeah, everyone's got a different tolerance. Like for me, when I look at Tree of Savior, I know it's trying to be like
Yes.
animated, right? When I look like a scene in Black Desert, I go, "Wow, this looks pretty good. It's almost realistic." But then I'll see all the grass go like in a very mechanical way or something. It'll just throw me off.
Oh, I
Well,
see.
that's just kind of games, though. I mean,
Yeah, I know. It's a
you
small
can't have
complaint.
that level of detail in everything yet.
Yeah.
And you want realistic? You want realistic, huh? What
do
about this?
Give him Second Life.
This is realistic right here. This is VR chess at work. I feel like this is how VR chess is gonna look like.
What is
You
VR
what?
chess?
Just knock over all the
Oh, speaking
Where'd you
of,
link this? I don't see it.
Sorry, I looked in the other chat.
hold on. Did you guys see the HoloLens thing?
Well, I
Yeah.
saw it when it was first demoed a while ago, and I just didn't knew about it.
No, the new one.
This is so gold.
Oh my god.
This is realistic right here. This is realistic VR. This is HoloLens.
It's well. First off, Conqueror is terrifying now.
Yes, he is.
Oh my god, you're gonna murder me in my sleep. That is genuinely scary.
But
Young Conquer boys is back. The Young Conquer.
I admired their like enthusiasm and their whole like this can be played in any room, but at the same time, like you can't make a structured game like that. If it
No.
can be played in any room, it's just going to be like something
It's not
that
a game. It should be
turn
like,
on and like
Yeah.
mess around with.
yeah.
Does anybody know the price of the HoloLens?
$3,000.
$3,000. The Oculus looks pretty affordable.
Yeah,
now.
right? Yeah, Matt, what do you Looks like
How's
it's
that feel, man?
a bargain after all.
I would say I'm hoping that the developer kit is like most dev kits, and the price is above the consumer price. I'm hoping. I'm doubting, but I'm very much hoping.
I think the HoloLens is not going to be for gaming. It's going to be for
No.
like modeling and like industry use.
Yeah.
Imagine
Maybe for interior
sculpting and
designers.
HoloLens. That would be awesome. 3D sculpting and HoloLens.
Yeah, I mean, this is not a consumer grade thing. At least you can see it looks like kind of the Conquer one and their Minecraft stuff, but for $3,000, that's nobody's got that kind of money. These gamers don't have that kind of money.
Does it
No.
fix it if I move closer to the mic?
I don't know. It sounds odd.
I don't know.
Let me restart Skype. I'll be back.
I get what you're saying, but in terms of VR, I like the look of the HoloLens a lot more than I like the look of VR. You know what I mean?
But can
I
you
like-
can you do the chess thing on there?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Probably.
I got the chessboard.
But yeah, I like augmented reality more than I like
Really?
virtual. Yeah.
I don't know.
Interesting.
I feel like
I don't know what practicality I'd get out of it.
gaming wise,
Yeah.
I think you get practicality non-gaming wise. Like I could just think.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, like driving even. Like imagine like your windshield has like.
Yeah, you got YouTube videos playing on your windshield.
No,
while
no,
you're
like,
driving.
it's like the
that
speed.
sounds really smart.
The speed, arrows, like you know, like in Black Desert, you have that line
Yes.
for the quest.
Yeah.
Imagine that on your dashboard.
And then you get so casually distracted. It's
Didn't
like you think
Lexus
texting
do
is
that?
distracting. Just
No.
wait till you wait till your windshield's a HoloLens. You'll be minimizing. You'll be texting on there. No, unless we get self-driving cars, then you're fine. But until then, it's a terrible idea.
I don't know.
There was a car that came out, I think it was a concept car, where it actually did have that. I mean, this is sort of tech podcast, but it actually did have what you're talking about, the arrows on the window. It's like, yeah, it's right here. Found it. I mean, this isn't gaming, but, you know. Tech.
Oh, it is. Driving is actually just a real life driving MMO.
That's why I like driving stick. It's like playing a video game.
Oh God, people who like driving stick are annoying.
Yo.
Yeah, I like driving stick.
Oh yeah, I like making my
Sure.
cheese at home with like my little cheese cranker. Like no, why? No one does that anymore.
Yeah, see, this car has a little arrow. It's pretty neat.
Is it all fixed, by the way,
Yeah.
now?
It's fixed.
That
Yeah,
is
you're good.
cool.
Right?
Damn, I want that.
That's kind of cool.
So,
From my Omni days.
All right, this isn't game related. This
We're
that was
deviating.
like-
We're deviating.
This is a
That would
perfect
work
segue.
so much better than Waze.
This will literally make the world an MMO. Like all the features that like are introduced in MMOs are gonna come to real life, guys. Think about it.
You're gonna grind in real life. I'm waiting for.
All right, so back on topic, I am going to share Chronicles of Illyria. So, Chronicles of Illyria showed off their first look, finally, of what the game is going to look like.
Want to explain what the game is or what it touts to be first? Like, just give us an
It's-
overview.
It's the next big sandbox MMO in quotes.
It's not gonna be the next big sandbox. I'm already calling
It's
it.
the one
Soulbound
that's got,
Studios,
like-
not a bad name, guys.
Whoa, Matt,
It's-
this is not the next big sandbox. This is from a no-name studio.
Whoa.
It's super,
Anyways,
it's super indie.
Wait, back
Okay.
to what it is. It's the one with the permadeath feature where your character lives like only about 90 days on average, I think they said.
Mhm.
And every time you die and have to soul walk, it cuts away from that.
Oh damn.
And then when your character dies permanently, you end up having to buy another character, and that's how their business model is going to work.
Wow. So
Wait,
they're
what?
really going to nickel and dime you. Every time you die, you gotta make a new character. You have to buy
No,
the
no.
game again.
Then every time you die, every
Rather
time
than
you.
subscribing, every time you die, you have to buy a new character.
No, not just when you die. Not just when. So if you just a
No,
monster.
not every time you die. Every time you perma-die.
Oh, so if a monster kills you, you don't perma die.
No,
always
you just-
perma-die.
No,
Your
You
lifespan
have-
goes down.
your lifespan goes down. Yeah,
So it's a subscription model. Every 3 months you have to pay.
Yeah.
sort of, but not like a direct subscription. But anyways,
I think that's like worse because then you're penalizing people who suck like really hard.
You just camp somebody like he died at 20.
but anyways, they stated before that they made it clear that from the beginning that they wouldn't launch a Kickstarter campaign until they not only consumed all of their own resources, but also showed enough gameplay footage and assets until they felt that they'd earned their support. Well, they did not show enough gameplay footage to me. That does not show any gameplay.
This
at all.
shows nothing. This just shows like okay, they brought up an engine and that's it.
They walked around and they showed the guy swinging the sword, but unless the sword connects with something and does damage, there is no gameplay. It's just an animation.
Matt, ready?
Yeah.
It's another shitty indie studio. All right, that's trying to make a name for themselves, and it's obviously early. And I'm throwing this out there, but it's way too early to say they have anything. Like,
But,
you could get this in like a day of playing with the engine. You just load some basic assets, you throw it in Unreal, throw it in Unity, and you walk around and swing a sword.
But here's the problem. They said that they weren't going to launch a Kickstarter until they showed off enough gameplay. They announced their Kickstarter is starting May 3rd. And
Nice.
not only that, they're spending $40K a month right now. Their Kickstarter goal is going to be $900,000.
They're not gonna get it. I'm
No,
calling it.
they're
No
not going
way.
to.
No
no way.
chance.
No, but
Wait,
like
really? That's all-
I see this to be really kind of disconcerting that they consider this to be enough to launch their Kickstarter.
Well, they want to get that free money.
Based on, I mean, it's one thing if you put something up in the concept phase, but they stated that they wanted to show off enough before they launched their Kickstarter. This is not enough.
I'm more impressed with Berserkers than I was with this. See, at least I can play Berserkers.
And like they have the whole forge thing and they're showing off the crafting, but guess what? That's just an animation too. until they show that it works, there's no gameplay there.
This is why I feel like Kickstarter, in a way, it really preys on the like what gamers want and like really uninformed gamers. All of the times, okay, you get a product Kickstarter that works out, right? But then you have people to just throw their money at like these ideas, thinking if I give them money now, it's going to happen because these guys clearly know what they're doing, but they don't necessarily. So Kickstarter is a double-edged sword. I think there's gonna be a lot of failures from over there, and I think a lot of gamers are gonna lose money on it, just trying to support these games.
But at the same time, you do get some games that are made and they're great. But so that it's like you said, it's a catch-22. You really got to take the good with the bad.
Yeah.
And what it comes down to is creating an
bad.
informed public or an informed user base that can distinguish between what's a scam or not necessarily. I don't think this is a scam. I think it's good intentions.
Yeah.
But the thing is, people take on projects, and this happens outside games too, and you don't see how many hills you have to climb to actually make it. Things are a lot harder when you start going on anything. So.
Well, there's a whole.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
There's a whole different issue that I see with the Kickstarter and early access culture, and that's that people become jaded by the time it's released. If you watch something incrementally evolve, you're not seeing a whole lot of new stuff when it finally comes out. It's just like the next step where they finally decide it's released, and you're jaded by then. And by the time it's the intended experience, you're already not like as interested in the game anymore.
Well, they got your money already. They don't care.
Well, they don't care, but you know, it's kind of in a way ruining a number of games for people.
Yeah.
Guys, I have an awesome idea, and it's
Go.
very themed for this today. So today's Super Tuesday in the political world. Basically, 12 states are going to have primaries for Republican and Democratic candidates for president. So
What MMO is this?
What if I'm not done. What if we apply this principle to Kickstarter? So everyone who wants to
Ooh.
gives $10 ahead of time, right? And then all the studios, like 1,000 studios or whatever, pitch their game. Then there's a primary, and then like one for each category, like a MMORPG, shooter, platformer.
It's actually not a bad idea.
And then after the primary, all 5 of those games, it's like 5 categories, let's say, they have an election. And then one game gets all the money.
And you have person organizing it to kind of weed out the scams too. So what gets chosen by the people also, what they're presented by, they get vetted too. So
Well, no, I would leave it to the people to vet. So basically, everyone pitches something, and your videos and your page and your website will show
that's
you what
true.
you have.
It'll kind of vet it for you.
Yeah,
People,
yeah.
If you have enough people out there, and there's only one per category.
I mean, just like a real primary, right? People get vetted and they drop out.
Why don't you make this, Erhan?
Make it happen.
Make it happen.
Aaron's the idea guy. All right?
MMO
But
primaries.
It's an interesting phase in an idea.
So wait,
And the phase followed by Erhan's idea is called laziness, and then it doesn't happen.
Well,
so
guys,
wait, he's basically pitching Square Enix Collective, except for instead of voting, you put in $10.
yes, you put in $10 and then you vote. There's like tiered voting.
Yeah.
So it's basically Square Enix Collective without money or with money.
Yes, sure, and not for just Square Enix.
For everything, yeah. Any studio
No,
pitched it
Square
to.
Enix isn't for Square Enix games. They do this collective thing where they back.
Yeah, they back one of the games people vote on. It looks like.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like that.
Guys. No, you got to call them primaries and stuff, so it ties in with politics.
All right, now that we're getting off topic, I got to drop my Second Life story real quick. All right.
Oh, I'm excited.
I was playing
Please.
Second Life with 2 of my friends, introducing them to the game to just troll around.
I always miss out on this.
You were on your vacation there, so I end up
Damn
at
it.
at a strip club, as all Second Life things go, to troll the ladies at the strip club. It's
Aw,
all roads
yeah.
lead to the strip clubs, right? I was asking one of the the proprietor there to I was like, yo, let me get a free lap dance, all right? Put on my tab. He's like, no, we can't do that. I'm good for it. Trust me, I'm good for it, right? And he's obviously not gonna give me one. So I get to talking with the guy, and he plays League. So I start talking about League with him. I'm like, all right, He's like, what's your name? I'll add you. So I say Remote, and then at that moment, one of the girls on stage, who was dancing and naked, stripping, right? She's like, oh my god, is that you? Is that the real Remote? It's like, oh my god, I love you. I'm your biggest fan. It was so weird to
Oh
bump into
my
somebody,
God.
and she was one of the strippers on there. So I got a free lap dance in Second Life because of this.
Oh my god.
And then she added me on Skype, and she wanted to play League with me. So she's a cute Vietnamese girl. I play League with her, right? And Yeah, I know it's a girl too. You know why? Because she sucks at League. That's what gave it away for
Whoa.
sure. You know?
Damn, dude.
It wasn't her picture.
Shots
it wasn't.
fired.
It wasn't her voice.
If she's listening now, you just lost out, dude.
No, listen. In all fairness, I think we were playing like I was playing an account, so we were playing gold games in ranked, and she was like maybe bronze 1 or silver. So in her defense, she was playing against people that were way better than her. All right, so she didn't necessarily suck. She was just playing against harder people. I went 18, 2, and 25, and I couldn't carry.
Dude, man, let's play Second Life today. Do it.
Perhaps it's a weird world, that Second Life world.
I want to play.
So it was an experience.
I still have
I
not
think I'm
played,
finally recovered.
and I'm not
Well, you
interested.
do need to.
Let's go, Erhan, Sean. Let's have an adventure. It's like an old-fashioned adventure. You know, we burn our house down.
To the deepest dungeon of the internet.
Yes.
You guys can
that's
go
what
do
it
that.
is.
I'm gonna go somewhere else and not do that.
It is a deep.
It's not Indian
So somebody
enough for
linked
that.
some Unreal Sword.
I'm playing Black
Assets?
Desert. Good enough with the indie crap.
Matt, you're the indie guy though.
Yeah, the indie guy.
You
yeah.
are. the
You
guy.
love the indie crap. Matt, when I think indie games, I think of you, Matt. All right, you come to mind.
Yeah. Well, somebody in the comments linked assets for sale in the Unreal Store for sword animations, and he was saying that game Chronicles of Valyria was using it. I'm not sure if that's true, but even if it is, I don't think it's a big deal. I'm sure lots of games use assets from the store.
Skype just said call ended.
Not for me. I'm still
Not for
good.
me. I'm still here. It did say call ended though.
It did, yeah.
Well, we can ignore it. Skype is a iffy
Skype.
platform, boys.
Skype does not get the MMOs sponsorship. Soylent does though.
Well,
Yeah.
you're
Like,
right.
speaking of
I'm
Soylent,
offended by Soylent, like at the core of my being.
Anything's
Wow.
better than join.me, okay?
well, let's move on and let's bring up a new topic here. Darkscape, which was the PvP RuneScape server, launched about 5 months ago, will be shutting down its servers on March 28th. It seems that while it does have a hardcore community, there weren't enough players to warrant keeping the server online and developing the game. I guess it does show that, you know, the vast majority of RuneScape players, I guess, are just not interested in solely PvPing.
Well, here's the issue with this.
Go ahead.
This was kind of like a in-between server where they used the old school rule set of open PvP, right? And they combined it with the current game state. So it was
Oh,
so it was old school PvP with new school
Content
content and the mechanics, right? And it did find a
Yeah.
small audience. I think they still about 1,000 players online, which is better than like 95% of games we cover,
Yes.
right? But
so
it wasn't enough for RuneScape. They still have 2 servers going. One is the current RuneScape 3, I think it's called. It's you know, whatever's happening now, no PvP, whatever. And then they still have old school RuneScape, classic RuneScape, which is the old rules. So those 2 are still doing fine. They each about have between 35 and 40,000 players online at any time. So those are still
Well-
2 massive games.
I think it's more than just it was the old school rules. It was even more hardcore than the old school rules.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
And I mean, I think it's just. Well, what Jagex themselves said is most people just went back to whatever they were already playing. They tried out the new mode and they just went back. They didn't want it.
Yep. If there's any Ultima Online players out there besides Omar, I guess I'll explain it to Omar. It was basically Siege Perilous of the RuneScape world.
And this guy actually in the chat brought up a good point. I think the biggest issue is that the higher level players were always camping the starting city, so no one new could join. And this is always the problem with hardcore games. There's so many, you know, when people get established, they want to prey on everybody else. There's only so many sheep you can shear, you know, before they get pissed off and leave.
Well, I mean,
Well-
you gotta keep them down, right? 'Cause
Yeah.
That guy is gonna grow up and be your enemy. So it's like,
No,
why
he's
not?
gonna quit and go play Teletubbies Online.
Well,
Well,
I mean,
there's-
even more to keep you on top, you know.
There's
Yeah.
a core catch-22 there, though, because if you don't limit it, then the new players are going to quit. But if you do limit it, then
It's
the
not
hardcore
hardcore.
PvPers are going to be like, oh, there's a safe zone. It's not hardcore. I quit.
Yeah, this is a balancing act. I mean,
I like how EVE Online does it. They have a pretty good system about that. They have like the security level of the system,
Yeah.
and then there's NPC guards that will protect you. But I mean, it doesn't completely protect you, right?
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean,
that's a good point. I
you
think
can-
Eve does have a good balance with that.
yeah, because
Well,
Because if you're in higher sec, there's just more security, like there's more police. But if you really were like, fuck that guy, I'm gonna fuck that guy up, you can still fuck him up. The police will kill you, but
Games already had like a whole decade to balance that, though. I mean, imagine a new MMO launching and trying to balance the NPC.
I mean, that's their fault for not looking at other options. I mean,
the number one is based on RuneScape. It's old.
I mean, what you gotta do as a game developer is you need to play other games and kind of see what works for them and adapt that into your plan, you know?
Guys, hardcore is dead. I'm saying, as much as it hurts me to say that, hardcore is dead. The hardcore
I think
PvP,
hardcore was dead out of the gates. The only reason it doesn't look like it is dead is because the audience at the time was more hardcore.
Yeah. That's fair. Hardcore was dead. It's been dead for a long time. You're right.
It's dead as a percentage of the player base, but it's not dead in terms of raw numbers. Because back then, the raw numbers were never big. You know, you all had like 100,000 players at peak, and even mixed in that crowd was the non-hardcore.
Like it's just what I'm saying though is that the reason it looks like it's dead now is because you have the same amount of hardcore players. It's just the audience has expanded.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's dead, but if it's dead now, it was always dead.
So I think actually there's a good thing that you linked earlier, Matt, about the producer from Ultima Online talking about hardcore. They added a feature called Trammel, which broke up the game to basically safe zone and unsafe zone. And a lot of hardcore people is like, that was their decision, saying this game sucks now. And both Aaron and I are in that camp, and we said that ruined the game for us because we were hardcore back then. But they said that the decision to do that actually doubled their player base. So it shows that people aren't looking for that PvP. I guess they really were probably never looking for that PvP experience.
Well, they were just forced into it.
They were just forced, yeah. And it was the only option back then.
He does also make another good point in that Reddit post. He says that if he could do it over again, he would create new servers for Trammel with the non-PvP rule set, and he would keep the current servers the way they were.
Interesting.
That would be so that way, and I guess new players could have been recommended the safe servers, and that's kind of the path a lot of new games follow. Like even WoW had PvP servers and PvE servers, and it would recommend you PvE servers.
Do you think we'll ever have a hardcore game like that again? EVE Online is currently probably
EVE Online.
But EVE Online is not that big. I mean,
I think they're down to
average
125,000 subscribers. I can't remember. I think I saw that somewhere, but I'm not positive. Don't quote me on it.
Will there be anything bigger than EVE Online? Will there be a new game? Because EVE Online's old now too. Will there ever be a new hardcore game that's not super indie and super niche?
Well, Pathfinder could have been that. It could have. That because it isn't super indie. Pathfinder isn't. It was a subsidiary of Paizo, which is not indie. But it wasn't. They hired Ryan Dancy, and all evidence points to the fact that they screwed up by hiring Ryan Dancy.
Is this game ever going to come out? Because they had some funding issues earlier, and they said
it got sold to another company.
But is it ever going to come out?
Let's see what the other company does. We don't know yet.
I've heard nothing about it for months because I heard the news about selling the studio earlier.
It's in transition right now. We don't know. Nothing is coming out of it.
EVE Online currently has 28,000 players online, which is not bad.
It's not bad at all.
It's about what I remember during the day.
If you look at Steam charts, 28,000 would put you in the top.
Also,
top
EVE
15,
is
20.
subscription too, so
Yeah.
it's like.
On that note, Night Online has 19,000 players online on Steam right now.
And that's just Steam.
That's just Steam. They've at least doubled that
counting-
overall, probably. So Night Online is also a hardcore-esque MMORPG, and it's old and it works.
I think Night Online proves that most players don't really care about the pay-to-win thing.
Yeah.
Well, with that Ultima Online thing, we should also mention the game that the executive producer for Ultima Online, he's currently working on a new project. We briefly mentioned it before, but it's Crowfall, and this game is basically it's right at the gate. It's trying to be a PvP game more than like a single persistent world. Anyone have any thoughts on that? It's based on Unity, which I think might not be the best idea for a PvP game, but I wouldn't see.
Unity is not a bad engine. It's just people aren't using it right for the most part. It can be optimized, but nobody's optimizing their games properly, basically.
Crowfall looks like it has potential. I mean, it seems of those indie games that are coming out, that seems to be one of the most promising.
Crowfall seems weird as fuck to me because it's got that whole thing where you have to basically destroy a world by fighting over it, and then you take your character, your persistent character, and move to another disposable world.
Hey, they're trying new things. Gotta give a point for that.
It's just weird to me. You know what I mean?
Well, weird is better than generic because We're all tired of the generic stuff.
From what I can tell, the only permanence is in your character, though, and that
It's okay.
I don't know if I'm going to be okay with that. I'm not sure yet.
I think everyone has their own personal world, like, right? Kind of like housing. And then from there, your character jumps to other worlds that have time limits.
Intriguing.
And I'm playing some
Oh, you gotta
graphics.
get our-
we gotta get our
That
hands
sounds
on
like
it.
Mist Online.
Oh, Mist Online was a disaster. Uru Live.
That sounds like Mist Online, though, where it had the personal little thing where you had the books that you could jump to other worlds from.
I actually linked you a video for a night online to show you just how big it is on Steam right now. And like this game, I don't know, it's something else. Very generic, old game, but it's killing it. So I don't think we'll have the hardcore game again. Hardcore.
I think this game, just Night Online, this scene you're in just looks busy because this was like pre-auction house, so people just left their computers on in the stalls.
Yeah, just look how much it is. But
Oh
it's so-
God! Don't even remind me about that. With the cities, with the
Yes, the stalls.
Yeah, Ragnarok did
Everywhere.
this.
A lot of new games don't have auction. Like some games just don't have auction houses. They choose not to have it because they think it's more like homely and more like close knit to have a community like this. But I think it's just stupid.
I liked it in Ragnarok Online.
There
yeah,
you go.
I did too.
I think there should be shacks
It
in
was-
town you can rent, and then so the players
I
who
like-
pay the most do it.
Yeah,
I like the
it.
universal auction houses because, okay, jumping from shop to shop to shop to shop to shop to find
Yep.
what you want is a disaster, and it takes too much time.
Yes,
I don't miss it at all.
I don't. It just seems like a terrible decision.
Here's the
But I mean,
thought.
like on the flip side, like as a person who likes crafting, Ragnarok Online had like this whole setup where you would get to know people that knew how to craft stuff, and you'd know that this person has a shop and they always set it up in this one spot, and then people could buy from you and have like your name on it and
Sure. There's this guy. He always sells it right in the auction house. Right? You just search and you find it.
All right.
I mean, how about Mabinogi? Mabinogi had a similar system where you could buy a house and you turn it into a store, and then people can search the stores, and then they have to go to your store after they find it.
I was gonna
Did you
say
guys actually play Mabinogi?
I played
Am I the
it.
only one that played it?
I played it.
I played it briefly. I think I played I don't remember what level. It wasn't high.
I think that game had a good mix between the two. Because, like I said, there's a shop board, right? And you'd click on the shop board and you'd search for whatever item you're looking for, and it would tell you which stores have that item in stock and at what price. And then you would have to visit the store to go pick it up.
That's
It's
But
a bit
then
of
you
both
could
then.
browse all their other stuff.
That's the
And-
same system they have in Neopets, which I'm sure a lot more people have heard of. It's basically there's a shop wizard, you search, and you can go to each player's custom store page and buy it
Yep.
there.
Was that like Star Wars Galaxies too, if I remember correctly?
I think Star Wars Galaxy just had an auction thing. You can just list it.
But did you have to go there?
I don't know. I don't remember.
All right, it's been literally
just-
like 10 years, but
Yeah.
I vaguely remember something similar in Star Wars Galaxies.
Just personally, I think with all the time-consuming stuff that MMOs have, shopping should not be one of them.
But it's also part of the communal experience, as she was saying
it
too.
is,
You
yeah.
forge a bond between the person sometimes. I see the merits of it, because honestly, it's not always about convenience. Because I think convenience almost ruined some of the feeling of exploration
Okay,
and stuff.
so one thing I can't agree with, Shu said something about renting out like stalls or something in set locations.
Yeah,
There
you're
are a
right.
few
You're
games that have done that. I'm okay with that because they're always in the same place. You know
Yeah.
where they are. That's better.
The Mabinogi actually had two. One, if you were like a poor person and you didn't have money to rent a house because they were pretty pricey, you could just buy a what do you call it? You buy a license in like a town, and you could just set up like there's a certain marketplace there. It's like a bazaar, and you could just set up your little stall there, and it had like it was like a Ragnarok style where you just name your shop, and then people can walk up and look at your stuff. But richer people would have the other option where you have an actual storefront, and then that was searchable.
Actually, this guy in the podcast chat made a good point. Alan is. He says if a game is popular enough, the training is bothersome. So think games like MapleStory, Night Online, for good examples. The community will just make a website that will serve as a marketplace. And for MapleStory, that was Basil Market. You would just go in there and buy and sell items there and meet up in game because there was no auction house in game. And so any game that doesn't have an auction house ends up having a
Yeah.
third-party auction house anyway.
That's a really good point. With the internet
I mean-
today, there's no getting around it.
I don't know. I mean,
Think Diablo 2. I would only like browse sites and deal with it that way.
Forums and stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, it's the trading in Diablo 2 was atrocious. You'd have to join a channel that says like trading channel number 7. You go there, you walk up to the random player and say, "Wug, what you got?" And then you show him all your items. He shows you all his items, and then they close the window if they don't want your shit. It was so poorly done.
I mean, in Mabinogi though, nobody really had that problem. The only time people went to other websites, and it was the official Mabinogi website, the market trading forum. The only reason you would go on there is if you're selling high ticket goods that like were too high for like the limit in the store. So like really really rare stuff that was like in the millions. You know, you'd go on there to like look for people to talk to. But I mean, I feel like that system didn't really have too many problems, really.
It makes it both then, so that's why.
Yeah, it did.
All right.
Also, that game has the best crafting. If it wasn't like so exploitable, it would have been the best crafting of any game. It was really, really rough to be like a good crafter. Like I wanted, like when I started the game, I was like, I'm gonna be a really good blacksmith, and I didn't train any of my fighting. I only did blacksmithing till I got max level, and then like people would come to you, like you know, I used to have a store open. Like I'd open up my homestead, and it would be open like on this day, at this between these hours, and people would line up.
It feels like an actual like community then. Which is nice.
it does, and you know, a lot of games don't have that anymore.
Let's move
Final
from.
Fantasy doesn't have that either.
Let's move to another really old game because we're on a nostalgia trip here. The private server for WoW, the biggest one, Nostralius, is starting work on their Burning Crusade server. It's going to be testing soon.
Oh wow.
So their goal is to be a progression server, though they said that I believe they said they're never going to do Wrath of the Lich King. So
This is
it's going to kind of it'll hit a halt at the end of all the patches for the Burning Crusade, though.
And it's going to be a separate server, right? This isn't the same server?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure actually. It might be the same server because they've been patching, you know, the current server anyway with all the vanilla content. Anyway.
I just know I don't think Nax is in, and Nax.
They're adding Nax. They're adding Nax.
They are adding Nax.
Yeah.
Okay, here's what happened.
timeline.
Is it separate server, but you get your account gets copied to it,
Okay, that's
so
good.
we can play both.
That's probably the best way to do it.
I think that's I would have been disappointed if they just like move the vanilla server up to BC because there are plenty of players I'm imagining that want to stick with vanilla.
Yeah.
Now I actually like Burning Crusade a lot. I think that was where I actually had my own guild with friends in BC. We were all broken up in vanilla, so. But I know there are plenty of people who really shined at vanilla.
Most people
it's
say
cool.
that was
It's
expansion.
Cool to see that it's still it's progressing. I think this is one of the strongest private servers around for WoW. I mean, it's the one I constantly hear about. I know some people in chat have mentioned in the past some other servers. Again, I did play it briefly. I just don't have the time. I mean, WoW is an investment of time. So,
Is it just me, or does it seem like the expansions, people perception of the expansions get worse as the game goes on? So it's like Burning Crusade is the best one because it's the first one.
Yeah.
And then,
Well,
like as they keep going out, they just keep getting worse.
Well, I think the game just shows its age more and more, and every expansion after has to keep like ad hocing elements onto it instead of like designing it from the ground up. With I don't know, just the game got completely different though after BC. BC was the last decent expansion.
That seems to be
the
the consensus.
the only decent expansion apparently.
But the game changed too
BC
much
story.
afterwards. Go ahead.
When BC came out, I was at least, I imagine I was in high school, and I remember I convinced my parents, I was like, please let me stay home from school so I can play this game. So I did, I cut school, and I went and bought it, and then I sat there I didn't actually get in the server until 4 o'clock anyway, school ended at 3, so I just sat there waiting for the server to come online, because I guess, you know, expansion comes out, they had issues. But I remember, that's how addicted I was. I mean, I stayed home to grind in Burning Crusade just
How'd
to
you
get ahead.
convince it? I mean, you just told your parents, they're like, sure, son.
Yeah, go ahead, son. Stay home and play your video games and your Pokemans.
What the hell, man?
Yo, you had some either very chill parents or they abandoned you pretty early. They gave up hope on you pretty early. It's one or the other, Sean. Like this kid, they gave up on you. Focus on the brother.
Yeah, I think that's how it went.
That's harsh.
People are saying Legion is going to be one of the best expansions. That is,
we'll see.
honestly, I haven't actually heard that, so maybe I don't hang out with the right circles. But I mean, I think a lot of people have been complaining more about Legion from what I heard. But yeah, who knows? You know, I feel like it was pushed back just to coincide with the movie release. It's coming out right afterwards, and I know we had this conversation before. I'm convinced that movie is gonna motivate some people to rekindle their love with WoW.
Oh, definitely. When is the movie coming out? It should be soon, right?
June or July, I believe.
All right, I'm gonna watch the WoW movie.
Well, we'll do a movie review for it because it's
All right, I like it.
Apparently, I was wrong about Star Wars: The Old Republic not getting more subscribers because of the movie. So I think the Warcraft movie might actually work.
Yeah,
You know what'd be really nice? If the Warcraft movie, people make one of those stupid change.org petitions, make Blizzard release Warcraft 4, right?
Oh my god.
Guys, make WoW great again, all right? That should be the
Make
new
WoW great
hashtag
again.
for Legion.
There's already a change.org petition to remove the IP block for like Latin and other countries for Black Desert.
Has
So,
a
dear God.
change.org petition ever done anything? It has. Spoilers,
Let's
it
Google
hasn't.
that.
Has a government petition ever done anything? I mean, come on. They didn't put the World of Warcraft servers back online. What good are they?
Thanks, Obama.
Look, you go to change.org, the world's platform for change. Bullshit. Nothing ever happens on here.
So I just found the change.org victories column. The top one is government passes law to help curb acid attack violence.
What?
What law do you put in place to prevent people from throwing acid at each other?
Isn't that already illegal?
Oh, yeah, now that
That's
they passed the
illegal.
law, I'm not going to do it. You know, I'm going to be a law-abiding citizen. I feel like you don't really think about that when you decide to throw acid at somebody.
Washington Post journalist
screwed that
freed
up,
from
yeah.
Iranian prison. Somehow I don't think change.org had anything to do with a journalist being freed from an Iranian prison. So yeah, gotta love change.org.
Guys, I have a good topic to discuss over here. It's actually
Please.
from a Quantic Foundry. They do some research on games.
Oh yeah.
So they wrote an article saying as gamers age, the appeal of competition drops the most, and strategy is the most stable genre of gaming. So it's actually, look at the charts; they're pretty cool. So, have you guys noticed as you get older, you get a lot less competitive?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So there's actually a chart for it for males and females. Men are typically more competitive than women, and right when you're around 25, it falls down quite a bit, and it just keeps going straight down. The only
Look at the difference though. Men become a lot less competitive at a faster rate than women. I guess women are less competitive to begin with. So
it
that's
does
why.
cross, yeah.
The women actually get more competitive in their 40s, guys.
In the 50s.
They're between 45 and... Yeah.
Is that why you have the
Cougars.
old queen monarch?
yeah, I guess so.
I don't know. Where does it say that it really drops off? Because
It falls
I
pretty
don't-
25. It's actually not a steep
25,
drop.
30.
It's actually not a steep drop. And I think
I
it's... Go ahead.
I don't know if I've ever been super competitive, but like the Black Desert leaderboards are making me like, damn it, I need to get on the top of one of these.
But you're a little younger, Matt. You're a little younger.
Yeah,
you
we're
still
old.
have that competitive edge. I don't even want to know how to click into the Black Desert leaderboards. I am totally divorced.
Perfect example. See, Sean is no longer competitive at all.
No, I can't compete. I'm done.
Well,
I used to be very competitive in these games, whether it's League, Han, Dota.
And you still are a mayor.
I still am to a degree, but like, I feel like I've already proved myself in League to the point where I'll still play, but I mean, just casually, because I don't need to get Diamond 1 every season or Master every season anymore. I feel like I'm done with that because I don't play enough to even get there.
Yeah.
Do you guys know when I get really competitive? Whenever I see myself in the top 3 on a shooter leaderboard for the team, then I get competitive. I'm like, I gotta keep it. I gotta keep it.
Yes, you gotta
Oh
put it in.
yeah.
But if I'm nowhere near there, I just don't care. I mean, it's
Yeah.
like, unless I'm like way down with like a 0.1 kill death ratio, then I don't really care.
I like how strategy games have been pretty steadily appealing. Like if you like strategy games, you typically keep liking strategy games. They're like the most stable of genres. It looks like.
All right, just look at
Actually, I can
Civilization.
bring up
How
an
old is that
example.
series?
And the people we know that are older that play games, typically they like strategy games. Even my dad plays StarCraft.
I like StarCraft. Yeah, I was just gonna say that.
Even our
Yeah.
cousin in Turkey, he likes strategy games. Most people like strategy games, throughout.
There you go. Make strategy games. Get that old timer audience.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm curious about when they say strategy? Do they mean strategy in a competitive online environment, or do they mean like a single-player strategy game? Because I imagine there's a difference there too, right? Like, as an older guy, I would prefer to play strategy single-player, just me against myself, than trying to keep up and compete with people who are younger, like in a StarCraft match. So I would like to see some data there.
I really like turn-based war games. Do you know what I never have time for? Turn-based war games. More like the patience for them is probably a better descriptor because like having like 200 units to move individually is just too much work for me.
Well, that's a good point too. You know, as you get older, and someone brought this up in chat too, your ability to devote time to the game drops dramatically too. You know, as people get older, they start families or they have jobs or whatever. So it might not be with age necessarily. It could just be life catches up with you, and you have other things to do than sit and play Counter-Strike and try and get out of Cal-O after school every day, which is something I didn't do. So, you know, I think you got to take this and. There's other factors being there's other things being factored in other than just your age and like competitive drive.
Of course. So I would look more into that article, but you have to buy the full report. And the full report is $2,500. Pass.
Send them nudes. We're good.
I'll trade them nudes. For the
always
report.
works.
Speaking of nudes, I got some bad news, guys, for the week.
All right.
I can't wait for this transition. Go
All
ahead.
right, the venerable MMORPG Scarlet Blade is shutting down.
You're right.
It's shutting down. Ari has announced that Scarlet Blade.
No.
Venerable.
I love that word.
The game is not from henceforth. We will not call it Scarlet Blade. It will be called Scarlet Boobs. All right.
All right, Scarlet Boobs is shutting down, boys.
I like it. I like it.
Now, I have to say, before we jump on the train, because I know where this is going, I have met people, and we actually have a couple of writers who do enjoy, or they did enjoy Scarlet Blade a lot, and they always defend it and say that it's not just about the boobs.
No,
right?
you shows the boobs in the trailer.
There is
by
a
the way.
community. There is, there are people who are upset by this. There is like this small hardcore community that was invested in it heavily. So,
I'm 90% sure that they only joined because of the boobs.
I mean, maybe
Yes.
they brought them in, right? Maybe
I
that brought
played
them
this-
in.
Yes.
Like Scientologists, they get lured in by the boobs and then they stick around for their little test. So,
I actually
go
played.
ahead.
I played it
It's
longer.
called preying on the weak-minded.
Yeah,
I played this longer than most games that I've tried.
Really?
Yes.
Why?
The mechanics. The mechanics are pretty generic, right?
Very
the classes,
generic.
the
It's pure
skills.
generic.
But listen. It's no worse than literally 100 other games on MMOs.com right
Okay.
now.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, that's fair.
But,
It's no
but are
worse.
the boobs generic?
No,
The
no,
boobs.
no. You
Okay,
got
so
big, nice
I have the
boobs.
exact same gameplay as a million other games, like Last Chaos
Oh,
or
with
whatever.
bigger boobs,
okay.
bigger, better butts.
Yes, with boobs. So it's like
So that puts it ahead.
exactly.
Yeah.
You know what I'm more interested in? Mechs. It has mechs.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, like it's got some
That's cool,
legit things
sci-fi.
going on. Yeah, I like sci-fi better than fantasy, so it's got that.
Okay, personally, I look at it and I see they ruined their reputation right off the bat by putting boobs in it.
No,
They
Matt,
enhance-
No,
Matt.
I don't think so.
They
enhance
augmented.
your
They
reputation.
augmented
Yes.
something.
Listen, how many other games are out there where you can literally pay for an item in the cash shop that lets you remove your bikini and your thong? You can go full commando if you pay.
No, I don't think so.
It's the only game, I think.
That's an advantage.
It's just so... and the weird thing is, like, I feel there's no motivation to buy that item, right? Because if somebody else buys it, you can see their goods. And if you can see their goods, do you really have to see your own goods? I mean, they're the same class as you. You basically get the same boobs anyway.
Do you know what's more insulting than
I mean-
Scarlet Blade shutting down?
It's
the
Scarlet
fact that
Boob.
What's more insulting than Scarlet Boob shutting down is that they offered people playing it a veteran package for Echo of Soul. Now that's
Yes.
just a slap in the face, all right?
Oh
Please
wow!
let them keep their
Really?
dignity.
Okay, this guy just said I couldn't play Scarlet Boobs because my dad was always in the room.
Well, that's why you play together.
Oh, you played it?
It's a bonding
Right, yeah.
experience.
Make
Father
it a
son
family
bonding.
thing, you know? Bonding. Bonding or bondage.
Oh
Yeah.
god, they have a Blade and Soul nude mod. They have nude mods for everything.
Yeah, they do. I mean, I bet they have loot mods for League and stuff too.
Wait,
They have a nude mod for the Fatal Frame that's on the original Wii.
Yeah, I'm not
Awesome.
surprised. The community really does good work with that content, you know.
Do you know the day the Fallout 4 nude mod dropped? I think it like tripled the next most downloaded mod. It just skyrocketed
You know,
way up.
God bless those people that make the
God
mods
bless
for us.
them.
Right? God bless them.
Dude, they have sex slaves like in Fallout 3. Come on.
Maybe I haven't been following in a while. I would imagine by this point.
Guys, Matt,
Good
you,
stuff.
you said you didn't like Boob and Soul, but not Boob and Soul. What was I saying? Scarlet Boob.
Scarlet Boob, different game, different game.
It's got one thing in common with Black Desert. Do you know what it is? Gender lock classes. Boom.
Ooh.
Yeah, general lock classes. I mean, they're all female characters, but I think they added one.
No, they added male. They added a male.
They added one
male.
male character at the end. Like,
Okay, come on. Even I am playing a female character in Black
yes,
Desert. I
we
got
got
over
you,
it.
Matt. We got you. Usually in these games, Matt is always the one that plays a male character. We always play female characters because why the hell not?
I just want to say that we can't show this on Twitch, but the nude mod for Blade and Soul is not appealing.
Let me take a look.
Don't show it on the stream, but
No,
go ahead,
no,
just
I
look
won't,
at our
I
judgment.
won't.
You guys can Google this, I
I'm
guess.
taking a look. I'm taking a look. Let's see.
I am not impressed.
It fits the rest of like the shiny look of.
Yeah,
Blade.
I don't like the whole plastic look in Blade and Soul.
Okay, what the hell is that?
That's not just pleasant. That's not what people look like. I don't know if you guys know. I've ever looked at naked people. That is not what that. It looks like a model that you put like a torch flame to it and it melts a little, like a Barbie doll, and that's what the nude mod looks like.
Yeah, it's
Wow, the sites that are popping up if you go on Google Images.
No thanks.
Okay, so there is a nude mod out there for Boob and Soul. If you want to enhance your experience.
There's no limbs. I'm not interested anymore. Just kidding.
Oh my god. Get the FBI in here.
This is They got quite an amount of detail on here
Yeah.
though.
Again,
Jeez.
once again, God bless those guys that make those nude patches for us. All right, they are good members of the community. Great people. All right, guys, we have another game to cover this week. All right,
What
What
could
is
it
it? What do we
be?
got?
a game that you're going to be asking who asked for this. All right,
Uh-oh.
literally who asked
I
for
know
this.
what you're going to talk about. Go ahead.
All right, let me copy paste the link over here. It's a game called Metal Assault. Let me go and link you guys to the homepage. This is a game that came out originally in 2011. All right, and it shut down, I believe, that same year. Okay.
No, the next year.
The next year, fine, the next year. And it clearly was a flop, right? And literally 4 years later, Gravity Interactive and Korea is thinking, okay, we gotta get our shit together, right? Because our games are falling off, Radical Line 2 sucks, we gotta do something crazy. And like, alright, let's bring back Metal Assault. Who thinks of this? Like, they could have paid me like a consulting fee, I'd be like, no, just don't do it, alright? You're better off just not doing it.
They have to compete heavily with Suba Games and that other studio.
For the shit
Not-
old
well,
games.
They're not the only ones bringing it back. They're bringing it back in North America, but IDC Games are bringing it back in Europe.
Wow, so now this game developer studio is like, holy shit, people are willing to pay us money for this license again? Did they forget that it was a bomb last time?
Yeah, this looks like a bet. Like one of my favorite games of all time is Metal Slug. Like those games to me are my top 3. Maybe next to Ape Escape. This just looks like a Metal Slug ripoff.
Yeah,
But
well,
it doesn't
obviously.
look as fun or chaotic.
Except Ape Escape 3. Ape Escape 3 was not good.
I didn't play any of them except the first one.
The second one was the best.
Well, I'll try it then.
This
Give
game
it a
is
chance.
trying to like obviously attract some of the fans of Metal Slug, but I mean, I remember playing
I am
ages
not-
ago, and
I'm
it was
not
not
aroused.
special.
I'm
Silver,
surprised Warp
you
Portal
need to
still
set
up.
up that consulting firm.
Yeah,
Like,
we
there's-
will. How to make your game that suck.com, right?
Yep, I like it. We have a good panel of expertise on MMOs. We can.
Yeah.
I mean, I think these studios know this game sucks. It's just that they're desperate, and no real game will let Warp Portal license their product because Warp
Would you
Portal
rather
sucks.
spend time developing something or just regurgitating, like a mother
Well,
bird back
don't-
at another game?
Doesn't Warp Portal only publish Gravity Interactive developed games right now?
No,
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
anymore.
Well, not
Is
when
it-
this
is
comes.
Is this game developed? Gravity developed?
Which one?
Metal Assault.
Oh no, it's not. But
Yeah.
I mean, before that.
Yes,
For the most
everything
part,
else.
they did,
Everything
yeah.
else is their games.
So this might be the first like branching out they're doing
Well, yeah,
with a cheap game to see if it's gonna work.
it must be super cheap because honestly,
It won't work.
if I was going to license Metal Assault, my upper limit on the auction, like I would bid $7.50, and that's it. All right.
Wait, okay, so I haven't actually played this game, but I'm watching this trailer. What's so bad about the game?
I just remember
It failed.
it was
That's-
a complete bomb. It didn't feel fluid, and it wasn't good. It's been a year since I played it. So again, 2011 since I played it, and it was
That's a
very
year?
unmemorable.
It's been a year, 2011.
Many years, many
There's
years.
4 years in the past, everyone.
Yeah.
All right.
Wait, so can I download this right now? It's already available to play.
I don't think so.
No.
Not yet.
So this download button is just a virus. Okay, I got
Yeah,
it.
it's just trolling you.
That's good. That's
Well,
good.
wait, maybe it'll work, but you can't play it. I don't think. If you can, they didn't announce it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's not playable yet.
The download button will just be an alert saying "coming soon."
So I mean, it's this actually gives me another topic of discussion. There are so many like obscure games that nobody plays out there. Like, why is that a thing? What do you guys think? Like, if you go to GameandGame.com right now, for example, I'll give you guys the link.
Because it says they had a soft launch today.
Look at a game like
Wow.
Chronix. Okay, nobody plays that game. Look at a game like StoneCloud on here, right? Most people have never heard of some of these games. Like StoneCloud, I literally tried playing that game 3 times, right? And every time I logged onto the game, there was not a single other player online.
Wait, Sean, Metal Assault soft launch today?
Hey,
According to chat.
It's cute. Micro Vaults Online.
Microvaults is a solid game. I'll give him that one. That one's okay.
Have we
So-
played it?
I don't know.
What I'm curious is how expensive is it to keep these games active, to keep these servers turned on?
Free.
Right?
That's basically what
the
they do.
servers are nothing. The servers are not, it's the
Then,
No,
but I
it's
guess
not-
they're
it's-
just like shooting in the dark.
Yeah.
It's not free. I think it's like less than $1,000 a month.
no,
so
man.
they're just,
Like, you can get dedicated like a solid.
If you're
dedicated
retarded and you have like the hardware, then yeah. But if you just, they're all on
Use
the
a web
same.
host.
Yeah, they're all on the same web host.
The same place you host
they
a
don't
website.
use
You do
web
that.
hosts.
Why not?
So they use servers, and you get a server at a data center. It costs you like $50 to $100 a month for a low end server. I ran dedicated servers before for my websites.
If
And
you
That's
think,
for websites.
if
De-
you-
dedicated-
Same hardware.
if you think Asta Global is running like, you know, some Xeon processor, you know, on
I'm
the
not saying
shelf.
that, but I don't think they're renting from like GoDaddy.
No, not GoDaddy, but like SoftWare and
Namecheap.
stuff. And no, not Namecheap. It's not a shared hosting environment. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
I've taken websites from shared hosting to VPS to dedicated server to multi-server setups, and the hardware is solid. No more than $100 a month for the server itself. And these games don't have any player base anyway. They could run on a VPS theoretically, no problem. For $20 a month. So the actual server itself doesn't cost anything. But if they're going to
So-
service it with GMs, it might cost money.
If there's no cost, basically, in keeping them up, then why shut them down?
That's what they're doing. That's their policy. I
Yeah,
guess.
that's the whole thing. Why bother shutting them down if there's no cost in keeping them up?
The only time they
maybe
shut
you'll bring
down-
one person in.
The only time they
Because-
shut down is when the developer pulls the license.
Okay.
No, that's not really.
Not the only
reason.
time, but oftentimes that's what ends up
Like
happening.
Scarlet Blade is a great example because the developers basically are only like a few people now, and their updates are going really slowly, and they weren't able to fix some major problem with the last patch that it caused a rollback, so they
Just
shut it
gave
down.
up.
But they could have just kept the roll. But they could have rolled it back and just no more updates going
No,
forward.
they did roll it back
Yeah.
3 months ago, but they haven't been able to fix it since then and implement the content properly because the development team is small.
But
so they're
why
giving
could
them a
why
shut
could they
it
say
down.
forget it? No, that update is gone. We're not putting it back in.
Because
Yeah.
as Aria put it, they weren't able to provide the quality experience they wanted to.
Yeah, okay. But if it costs them nothing at that point to keep it going.
Is your Skype lagging anyone else?
No.
Yep. All right.
It's
Well,
lagging
I think
for
we
me.
lost Skype,
It's lagging
boys.
for me.
So it's just me and you. Hopefully, you guys can still hear
I
me.
can hear you.
I can hear
Uh,
all you, but you're all
But while they're
robots.
meandering and
Yeah.
lip speaking, let's watch another game that no one's probably gonna play. Asta Online. This open beta is gonna start, I believe, March 2nd, so tomorrow. But you can pre-download the client now. This one was supposed to be the
Now you sound like
WoW
you're on
of
radio.
the East, but no one. It didn't really catch on in the East.
Yeah, it shut down in
All right,
Korea actually.
boys. Let's see.
Can anyone hear me?
I can hear
Yeah.
them, but they sound like aliens.
That's what you
Back.
sound.
I think it's 6 now.
Right, we're good. Some minor technical
Those
difficulties.
Estonian servers.
Well, I guess we'll just cut the podcast about 10 minutes short this week after we watch this Asta video. Yes.
Oh, that's right. Asta
Sony.
drops tomorrow, right?
Yep.
Wow.
Some people
It's
are
okay.
still excited about this game. It's just
Who's
that
excited?
some people are excited. So a
We're
few people
hearing
in the
the same
comments.
as you.
Can
Okay,
someone
so
in
you
chat
guys.
please tell me who's
Erhan,
excited?
Erhan was excited. I remember him saying in one of the podcasts that he was going to try it.
All right.
I'm skeptical now that he's gonna try it.
Well, I mean, it looks pretty generic for this video, but why not? We'll give it a try. It's free.
All right.
It's just always sad to see a game if it shuts down in Korea, and they try launching in America years later. Doesn't it feel like they really you're the sloppy
It did
seconds?
shut down in Korea, though. It's still open. It just hasn't been updated since 2013.
Okay, okay, that basically means shut down.
They're going with the Blade and Soul technique, but even though Blade and Soul is popular in Asia.
All right, then all your private servers are basically shut down.
Whoa.
Got him.
I could have sworn it was shut down from what I read before.
I think it changed publishers or something. It might be
Yeah.
shut down. I did remember reading it got shut down.
It did update since 2013. That's what
Yeah.
MMO Culture said, and I trust in their boy.
I mean, the thing about Asta 2 is its launch window is just poor timing now. I think it's like any news about it's just going to be shadowed
By Black Desert.
by
Online.
Black Desert.
By Black Desert.
Big Black Desert. And so they're really out of luck here.
I think it was unfortunate. I think they scheduled it a long time ago.
Yeah, it just turned out poorly.
And what else is coming out? There's Black Desert, there's Asta, and something else either is entering beta or coming out.
Trinium, or whatever it's called. The one that...
Yeah.
Trinium Wars. Which,
Alright.
which will get nothing.
I'm very not optimistic about that game.
No.
I'm still pretty sure the first publisher was just trying to, like, fluff the PR text by making it look good, because they haven't mentioned any of that crap since then.
All right. Well, the controversy with Trinium Wars, the PR, the first PR for the game, if we put a video on for the game,
Was
they said
disaster. It said he was, like, the lead designer and a
lead artist for Diablo 2. And they said there was a Star Wars director involved in the game, which was obviously bullshit. And then the game went nowhere. And then years later, they brought it back with a different name. And then they said the guy behind it was the lead artist for Diablo 3. He went from Diablo 2 to Diablo 3.
Wait, lead artist?
Yeah.
Well, he wasn't the lead artist of Diablo 2. He's the lead artist of Diablo 3. But confusion came in. He worked on Diablo 3 when it was still at Blizzard North, before it was what it is now, and Blizzard North got shut down. So I think the company was just stupid and said that it was Diablo 2.
But Blizzard North shut down in 2005. So he could have worked at Diablo 3 as a lead.
And he's credited on Moby Games as working at Blizzard North when Diablo 3 was at Blizzard North.
If you search Diablo 2, though, his name shows up nowhere.
No, so because he worked on Diablo 3.
Yeah.
Not Diablo 2. The new PR firm straightened it out. The old one, I think, is just an idiotic, now basically gone, free-to-play publisher that was trying to make it look good.
So this game launches tomorrow on Steam on March 2nd.
It's also bad timing. Black Desert is
yeah.
going to overshadow this. Even Asta will overshadow this, I think. But we'll see.
Well, they're now an indie studio. They had backing, I think, before, but now they're straight-up indie, and I think they're not going to make it.
I'm very, very hesitant about most indie studios. I feel most of them just don't go anywhere.
This is why we need primaries for MMOs, guys.
But I have played about an hour of it, and it feels pretty polished, but that's about it.
Good.
I mean,
Okay.
it's generic, but it's polished.
Yeah. We were discussing earlier about like indie studios. We wanted to say that for the podcast. We'll talk about that a little bit before we call it too. I think Matt was saying that a lot of indie games fail because they don't get the marketing that they need. And I think Aaron and I were in the position that most indie games fail because they suck dildos.
Okay, let me tell you what I've read from a lot of major, like, writers on major sites. Basically, a lot of people...
Right, you going robot for me. Anybody else?
Yeah, he sounds
Yeah.
like a robot.
Everybody else sounds good to me.
Come on, everybody sounds fine for me.
Yeah, I
said
think it's
robot
just,
to me.
it's just you now, Matt.
Skype is detecting your bullshit, Matt. Getting censored.
All right, Matt, what were yours to clear up?
Can you hear me now? Can you
Yes.
hear me
Yeah,
now?
you're
Yeah, it's
good.
better, it's better, it's better.
So I've seen a lot of writers on major sites say that they'll open an email, read the first 2 sentences, and if it doesn't capture them, they'll quit. They'll just close it and never look at it again. So indie games have a problem where it's not recognizable, and the first 2 sentences are usually not going to be the best. So a lot of them are going to be overlooked because of the attitude that people have towards the emails that they get about them.
Listen.
Because they get 1,000 a day, probably, from indie studios.
Who cares?
Yes,
Who cares
the
what the
thing
edition
is-
says? Players themselves will play good games. Look at a game like Stardew Valley, launched 2 days ago, right? It's literally Chucklefish is publishing now, but I think it's developed by one guy, right? It's an indie game. They have 24,000 players online right now.
Do you know how much hype has been behind it because Chucklefish picked it up? A lot. It's just because Chucklefish picked it up.
I guarantee if they self-published, they would still do quite well.
No.
Yes.
No. It's
Good,
basically all
good
Chucklefish.
games get out there.
No, they
They
I
don't.
do.
disagree too.
No, good games do not get out there. It's all based on marketing, the publisher behind it. It's all about the names.
I don't care
Hold on.
if Berserkers had a Super Bowl ad, that game would still be shit, all right?
Here's
But
the
they
thing,
still wouldn't
right?
have a respectable name behind it, even if it got a Super Bowl ad.
If Blizzard published it, it would still be shit.
Well, it's a chicken and egg thing. A respectable name is like a shield of quality. But if they keep putting it on shit, they'll lose that quality. Like brand.
No quality. Nobody would put their name on a quality game. If it's a shit game,
If
rather.
someone random like let's just say like Omer was just like, oh, I played this Harvest Moon game on Steam, I'd be like, oh, I'm interested in that, and then he gives me his recommendation, I'll try it.
Well, you will, but there is actually evidence to the contrary about that. Like, YouTube is good and all, but it's not a be all and end all, and a lot of people come to watch personality.
Can you name one that's good? I mean, like,
Give us a game that is so good that nobody's playing because they never heard about it. How about Undertale, by the way? What about Undertale? That game completely crushed it, right? And it's indie.
I can't think of anything offhand because I have a bad memory. But anyways, I know there have been a ton on my list that were great games that just got completely overlooked. Okay. A lot of people are probably going to disagree because it's not sold well, but let me look up what it is. I can't remember the name offhand. It's,
I also want to say, for MMO-wise, I've literally, because I was trying to make a video for every MMO and review every MMO on MMOs.com and my previous website on the Hut, I would literally seek out and find the most obscure games, right, and play them. And there was so much shit to wade through. Like, a lot of these games were zeros for a reason. They shut down for a reason. They sucked.
Damn it, where is it?
Deep words.
I mean, you guys must be able to agree that it's a mix of both. Let's say...
Sean, marketing helps. For sure.
Yeah, of course. That's what I'm getting at. But it sounds like you guys are both like on this opposite end of the balance board. But it's always going to be a mix of both. Of course, if you have a great game and zero marketing, you can still be successful.
No, you will. If you have a great game and zero marketing, you'll be successful.
You will not be successful. And there are articles proving to the other side.
No, people talk about the games they play.
I think you guys are arguing over a definition of a good game.
Wittgensteinian dilemma.
See,
Right.
a good game is a game people want to play. So if it's people are playing it, it's a good game. If they're not playing it, it's not a good game. It's very simple.
That's fair.
I mean,
That's fair.
I still can't remember the name of this damn game. I wrote a fucking article about it. Hold on, I gotta look it up.
So another point. I'm convinced Stardew Valley would be a massive hit, even if Chucklefish, if they self-published it themselves. It might take a couple more days for people to start playing it, right? Because it would be a snowball effect.
That's it. Okay. Daydreamer is literally one of the best run-and-gun games I've played in recent years, and it has probably only like 100 sales.
What is it?
Lifetime. Daydreamer. I just linked it.
I'm gonna look at it.
Okay, but see, so when I make a judgment, right? I don't make judgments based on other reviewers. I try and make judgments on my first impression, like when I look at a book cover. When I look at this, I'm already turned off just by the aesthetic. Now, it might be a good game, but I'm not going to play it because it's not aesthetically appealing.
This looks aesthetically very...
It's unique. It's distinct.
Okay, but...
It
looks
animates.
like Donkey. It looks like some kind of Donkey Kong like country.
Yeah, right.
some Donkey Kong shit.
Look, I'm not saying it's not a good game, but I'm saying I could see why this doesn't have many sales. Just looking at it alone. But if you look at a lot of people look at it and say this doesn't interest me.
Yeah, I like if I saw
You could have great mechanics.
I wouldn't have played it just based on the video they put up.
You guys are haters.
Yeah, I think as Aaron said, our definition of a good game is a game that people want to play. It's not necessarily the mechanics are great. I mean, you could say the mechanics in Stardew Valley are pretty stupid.
That's
but
completely different because people want to play Citizen Burger, but Citizen Burger is an objectively terrible game.
Stardew Valley is an
Actually,
objectively great game, and people are playing it.
Omer, there is a game out right now that a lot of people are playing that you despise, Shakes and Fidget. And
I was
for
going to
some
mention that.
reason-
That's good. That's worth
And for some
mentioning.
reason, it's doing really well, and I know in your own eyes, I haven't played it. It's a bad game, but it has.
By your metric, it's a good game.
Yes, sure.
Yeah. So,
Okay, yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
You know, so
By my metric. I don't know where Emmer stands.
So, a
By
good
everyone's
game
metric,
is
it's
not
a
a
good
game
game.
that people want to play. A
Alright.
good game is a good game.
No. If
Guys,
people don't want to play
that's
it,
guys,
it's really not a good game.
Clash of Clans, best game ever.
Clearly, it makes the most
Yeah.
money. There's something to it. It doesn't appeal to like our demographic exactly, but overall, it's a good game.
Your definition defeats any discussion, though, because
Okay, that's fair.
a good game is not all it takes to make sales anymore, and that is the point I'm trying to make.
Okay. They have to be, but to counter that point, it's never been easier for a small team to present their game.
Actually, it's harder, and they've proven that definitively over and over via Steam stats.
Wait,
There's more
imagine,
competition.
imagine 25 years ago, I make a game in my basement. What do? Hand out CDs? Because I say EA says no to me.
That's what Richard Garriott did, and look where he got.
Okay, but it was so much harder, though.
There were literally 5 people making games when he started. Like,
Yeah.
Richard Garriott handed out his CD to friends at lunchtime, and he still got where he is today. So don't even start.
no,
on that.
that's not fair. No, because first of all, he was a pioneer, literally, right?
And it's not fair, but you just used that same
Right.
example.
But today,
you can publish your game on Steam, and anyone has access to
You
it.
can-
Doesn't mean they'll find it.
yeah,
but they
you
have
can
access to it.
today you can publish on Steam, or you can hand out
Discoverability-
CDs.
But discoverability is the definition of how you make sales.
So hand out
it's not
CDs then. You have no
discoverable.
excuse. Don't even use Steam.
25 years ago, there was no discoverability. You had to
If
hand
you-
out you had to hand out via CDs at Staples or something.
If you
big
don't
issue
use
that
Steam, you're damning yourself.
Yeah,
Why?
It's an issue that Matt's
Richard
hinting
Garriott
at that
didn't
we're
use
not
it.
Getting to. Hold on. I think a big issue isn't just marketing or how good your game is either, but what factors into whether or not your game is recognized is whether or not it stands out from the huge surplus of games. There are so many games, like Matt's hinting at discoverability. I can't think of an instance, but I can foresee a good game perhaps getting buried. And maybe it's a good game within its specific genre, and it gets buried because there's just so many other things vying for your attention.
It's getting buried by better games.
Gorgeous, and it has basically been buried.
I don't know if that's necessarily true. That seems...
Matt. I think anyone on the stream that looks at this game that you sent earlier, you said it was a great game. I look at this video, I have no intention of ever looking at this game.
Well, try Armello here. This one is also...
But the point is, you can't just make a game that one guy thinks is good. It has to appeal to more people. Like, you could make the best bubblegum chewer simulator in the world, right? It could have the best mechanics, best sound. Nobody's gonna play it.
Okay, try that one.
All right, let's look at this.
I'm
It's got
looking at
other
it.
reviews, but it's in basically obscurity right now.
Yes, we're kind of running overtime here, so let's wrap it up quick.
It has 1,600 reviews, so they have at least 600 sales. By definition, it's already more successful
Oh,
than
this
most of
looks
these.
kind of cute. I'd play this game.
This game looks cool, and it
I'd
has
play it.
sales.
It has sales, but it's in obscurity now.
Is it fun? Like, I'd play it.
It's pretty fun, yeah.
Oh.
But see, it might be in obscurity now, but I do remember hearing about this when it first came out, and that's a temporal thing, right? I think there is a cutoff.
To
when
be
your
fair,
game-
I've never heard of it, and this is definitely something I would be interested in playing. Compared to the other one.
I mean, right now, according to Steam,
The other one looked pretty good, right? Shit.
yeah, it did.
right now there's
Sorry.
168 we're playing an hour ago. It averages 250 a month, which is better than it's
vast
funny. It's
majority.
better than a lot of games on Steam. Yeah, the majority which have 10 or less.
I want to sneak in one thing here. There's so many 8s, 9s, and 10s coming out now these days, like game-wise. That I'm not going to waste my time on 5s and 6s. Because I just don't have the time. Like, if I play games 24/7, I can't get to all the 5s and 6s.
No, you can't play it. There are too many games. It's too many, and I think you're also making a fair point. Like if you're someone who's going to look at reviews, your new cutoff isn't at 6 or 5. That's unacceptable. It's a 7 or 8, probably 8 or 9. Really, is what you
Because the
hone
sheer
in on.
quantity, as you said.
Because the
yeah.
sheer quantity. So therefore, when you have an excess of quantity, then you also have an excess of quality, and so you miss out on perhaps these more niche titles that are great within their genre but don't have that widespread appeal. And I
Yeah.
think that's something we're missing here.
Matt, does this game have co-op?
It has multiplayer.
So it's like versus multiplayer, or?
Yeah. It's versus 4 players, board game type thing.
All right.
Also, we kind of, I guess we could talk about this in overtime, but we discounted hype by saying marketing plays no role. Think about how much hype has been put into games, and then it's a disappointment ultimately. Again, I agree with you. If it's a great game, it'll stand out. I'm not disagreeing, but marketing does play a role. However, it's not a needed thing to be successful. I agree with that much. But if you have a great marketing company that's not, what's that company that sends us all the indie titles? Ragov. If it's not them, you're in better hands. All right? So it does play a role, for sure. That's really unfair otherwise.
All right, well, let's
Okay, here's a great example. Death Trap is one of the best tower defense games I have played in recent times. I am the only recommendation on curators. I am.
All right.
Well, it has 524 reviews, positive.
So that's again better than most average games on.
This company is also an established company that's published on consoles, and they still didn't do that well. And it's good. It's a good game.
I don't have to look.
Did you say I don't have to look?
I don't like the look.
Oh.
It also averages 34. It's averaging 34 players, 27 a month. So that's pretty good. You know,
34 players is good. No.
I mean, it is. Browse Steam charts, and when you compare it to the overall library that exists on Steam, yeah, that's good. Because most games don't last more than 10 after their initial release, after that first month. Again, it comes down to the quantity of games. Most games get nothing now. They're just dead sitting on Steam, and they're completely buried.
Yeah.
I mean, there's more stuff. If you look at new releases, every day there's tons of stuff coming out. And some of it doesn't even get on the front page.
I mean, because of that, because of the sheer amount of games, it's like the aesthetic is so important now. Like your window sellability is important, and it's like we said about the other game. It's like it doesn't have very much window sellability. You take like one glance, and you're like, I don't want to play that, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well,
That's-
I mean, that's
First
just the
impression is very
state
important.
that we're
What
in.
covers count?
let's keep it going in overtime. And if you guys are watching this on YouTube, this will be a good reason for you to stick around for the live show next time on Twitch. So we're gonna call it. Take care, guys.
Later, guys.
Peace.
See you guys.
See you.